What's up, East Tennessee? Y'all know who it is. Chili, my car guy down here at Hopper Auto Sales. At Hopper Auto Sales, we stand behind every vehicle we sell. And if we ain't got what you're looking for, we can go get it. We pride ourselves on getting you in the best vehicle at a price and a payment you truly can afford. Because at Hopper Auto Sales, all we see are happy smiles and happy customers in the best pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So scan this QR code or head over to Hopper Auto Sales for your pre-approval and the freshest inventory.
Welcome to In the Lab.
Coach Wright.
Coach O.
We're here in Cleveland with the head coach, Coach Dawson. What's going on, Coach?
What's going on?
What's up, Coach?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Good.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch you play last week, so just tell us about how the off season. You came in and just tell us a little bit about it, and coming into your first game as Cleveland head coach.
No, it's been great. Community's been awesome. Kids been great. Kids they work so hard. I wish last week we got to see the kind of the culmination of that. I thought it was going to be a really cool week. Kids were really fired up, but competitively you hate it. But then it's like you take a step back and it's like we got 100 less reps on our belt. Kids' legs ain't hurting. We're not hurt, and we can stay a secret for another week. So it's not the end of the world.
Do it concern you not to get them kind of because you kind of had a weird offseason because you had a scrimmage, didn't really have a second scrimmage, then you had a jamboree, and then you didn't get to play with one. So you was like, are you concerned about not getting like the little pregame kick?
Yeah, I mean, but I think it was cool because we did get to have that first drive. Yeah. Obviously, it was pouring rain, so we didn't really get to run our stuff, but we got to kind of, especially on defense, got to hit somebody a little bit. They did a good job. Heritage did, but. I think you kind of pick up those timing things as the season goes, but, it's kind of a trade-off. It's like maybe the timing won't be there. Maybe we got to take a drive next week, to kind of just, kind of set a little screws in, just run the ball a little bit. But one of those things, I think we're healthy, so I think that's a little better.
That's key for everybody.
Yeah.
Coach, I got to spend a little bit of time with you last year. You was over at Catholic, defensive coordinator. But just speaking from yourself, what do you feel like your strong suit is? Do you feel like it's being a defensive coordinator, or do you feel like you're more suited calling the offense, or just kind of sitting back and letting your coaches around you do their job? I mean,
my brain will always work like a defensive coach, like the organization of it. Our offense is more like tags. It's not, conceptually, it's got conceptually based like a lot of offenses. I think it's a very player-friendly system. It's just like a defense where you can build everything in as you go. The quarterback in our offense has a ton of freedom to kind of do what he needs. He can change routes. He can change protections. He can put the back where he wants him. So I think that's where my brain is organizationally. But in the same breath, I think me stepping this new role, you hire good people around you, and obviously we retain people. We have a phenomenal staff. I don't get in the way. O-line coaches O-line, receiver coach receivers. I'm gonna stay in my lane, do my thing, and I think when you got a staff of people you can trust, it makes that job, that part of it, really easy.
Coming in is just your first head coaching job. Tell us about the process and what made you say Cleveland is where I need to be.
Yeah, last season at Catholic, great year. I wouldn't have left Catholic. I was chilling. It was a great place, and whenever I was kind of approached about this job, it's kind of mutual. I just said, man, I need to see huddle. I need to see a login. So they got me taking care of the login. I got to be on huddle. And I just watched the tape. I saw the way the kids played. And, this is a very special senior class here. And for me, I felt like I was coming into a really great scenario, great facilities, a great group of kids. That's seniors, juniors, sophomore class is unbelievable. So we have a really great group of kids here. And I think, I've been offered other head coaching jobs before, and the timing wasn't right. And it's just so for me, this was awesome. And, looking back, 7 months removed, 8 months removed, I'm glad I was able to make it a go.
Coach, looking at coaches in the area, I feel like you one of the youngest around. But just looking at how you will kind of label a coach, I kind of look at John David Gilliam over at Anderson County as a mastermind far as exploiting on offense. And I feel like every coach has their own role. How do you feel like, what type of coach do you feel like you are to your players?
Yeah, I tell everybody all the time, I don't really try to out-coach people. The way I try to beat people is I try to out-prepare against people. There's not going to be a rule in the rule book I don't know. There's not going to be, something they put in, they stuffed in the back, and that's the way I try to do it. If a guy keys something on defense, and I'm watching this your offense perspective. If a safety keys, his outside foot's up, and he's going to roll it. Like that stuff, I try to be on top of that because you got people who've been doing this 40 years that have seen all the. I'm not trying to outcoach them. It's not. So schematically, I try to confuse the kids on the other team. I'd rather outcoach a 17-year-old than the 55, 60-year-old. It just is what it is. That's counterproductive. So I just try to be really prepared, kind of have my P's and Q's together, and see what happens.
So you call it the offense, correct? Or you off the
Yeah.
Is this the first time you called offense at
Yeah.
the high school level?
Yeah, it is.
Makes the job a little easier when you got 6'5" Bryson.
It makes the job a little easier. I mean, you look out there and you got, like we're going a package, we call it Giants, and you go 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", 6'3", like.
It's like so it's had.
Yeah.
It is.
But then I have this like your offense is your offense or something that you learned because you just came from your coaching tree with Lowe and Coach Ives and UD and Khaled. Is this something that it's your offense or something that you picked up on the way?
It's a little bit of everything. It's very similar to Ferris State, D2, the D2 program in Minnesota. A lot of our run game stuff's gun triple. We don't have people movers right now inside. We have athletic offensive linemen. So our run game stuff's a lot of triple option type based, and then the biggest thing, we have length, and a lot of people have length. And then you talk about Will Young or Austin Phillips in the slot, like that gives people nightmares. So we're going to make people cover the full width of the field. We're going to try to be very efficient. A lot of stuff is through film study and talk. I mean, I think the best offensive play call in the area is Price at Grace. I think he's the best. He does a great job, and you're talking ball with him. He's like, we're not worried about taking the top off. We're worried about completions. So offensively, that's what we are. Like, we'll take 5, we'll take 6. We're just trying to make people defend the whole width of the field. And then obviously we have length and speed, so we're going to make you defend vertically too.
This is my personal opinion, Coach, but I feel like coming from Catholic and the division they play in, my personal opinion, I feel like they possibly have the best 3 to 4 teams in the state in that division. Coming from that division, how does it help you coming over as a head coach? Do you feel like kind of the same way I feel like it's probably not going to get no better when you look out there and you got 7 D1 guys on Baylor? So how do you kind of feel about that perspective?
Well, I think, like I said, like it's in that league, like if you're not prepared, you're going to get exposed. So I think that just helped me with the preparedness aspect of it. Like almost like, there's a couple times last year where early in the year, we snuck by with wins, like Brevard. Brevard was a good win early in the season. And it's just like, we got to continue. We got to be like, there can't be a situation that we're not ready for. And there can't be, we have to use almost a level of anticipation. Like they could run this because this could complement. And, when you're kind of playing the 3D chess in your head, that's a tough game to play. So I think it just helped my preparedness. I mean, you're not going to get better coaching than that. And then you talk about coaching, and then it's also like you got SEC cats on the field every week. You got Brentwood Academy, and you got the Stephon kid went up to Florida, McIntyre, and then I think best receiver in America right now in 27, Kibo. Like come on, dude.
Good stuff.
Coming in when you took the job, it wasn't known that Clinton Lyman was small. How was it important for you to bring your weight program and then get a strength guy that you trust to beef up the program? Yeah,
our 5 starting offensive linemen, we actually looked at it today. They've gained an average of 34.5 pounds apiece. So talk about getting nutrition to kids' bodies, and honestly, at this age, like if you're doing anything consistently, you'll gain weight, you'll gain mass. Like it just is what it is. But if you can refine that, and like we don't put our bigs and our skills in the same lift. We don't give our skills and our bigs the same nutrition. They require a different level of expertise. So Coach Lawler does a great job with that. And we don't want like I'm saying, we don't want our skill guys. We don't want our skill guys doing the same movements as our bigs. So Coach does a great job. and our linemen are starting to really, really see the benefits of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hit him again, Coach.
Talk about your coach staff a little bit. You kept some guys from that was already here, and then you brought some other guys. What was the process of hiring your coaches?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you look at the people that stayed. You know, the only ones that didn't stay was just maybe last year they could just do it for a year and then work. But everybody else other than that stayed. And the biggest thing that I wanted to have was, you know, I'm not a husband, I'm not a father, and kids need to see that.
Right.
And if you had a room full of me's, obviously that'd be cool for me, you know, but like the kids need to see the dads and the husbands and, you know, balancing that with work life because it's tough. And I can't provide that to them. So that was important for me. I wanted to be able to see, hey, this is somebody that is, you know, working a job, being a great dad, being a great husband, being a great person in the community. And then for me, it's an aspect of somebody that's young and somebody that's maybe been through life, you know, similar to myself. You talk about a kid that's 18 years old, that's 7 years difference from when I'm at 25. And then so you talk about those two things, and then I wanted people that played college football. We have NAI on staff, we have D2 on staff, we have D1 on staff, we got XFL. So we have all levels, and so our coaches on staff, they know exactly what it takes to play at that level and that level and that level, and that's important. Kids need to see different backgrounds, and kids need to see different things to make them see different futures.
Coming into this week, Coach, getting ready for your first ever Clinton versus Oak Ridge rival. What do you think some of the keys to the game for you guys to win that game this Friday?
Yeah, I mean, they're super explosive on offense. I think they thrive on big plays. They thrive on momentum. They have a tremendous amount of team speed. You talk about Will Presley, Malik Howard, Porter. You talking about, like, come on, they got cats. And I think for us, you know, we just got to be able to match the intensity that they play with. Our kids got to show up and be competitive. And because I think, man, like, really, you talk about the dogs we have on our team, I think it matches up well with about anybody we play. I think we all have to rise to that level of intensity and that level of competitiveness. And I feel really good about our chances with anybody. But that's a great football team. And for us being in year one and really week one, I think it's a great measuring stick of a school down the road. Top 5 or 6 team probably in 6A. We'll see how it goes.
What are, you know, how important do you feel it is to come off Friday with a quick start? Offensively and defense, since y'all didn't play last week, to kind of get the momentum going. Yeah,
I mean, like similar to what I talked about Oak Ridge, like going off momentum. We're the same way. You know, our kids, and you try to get it out of them, but, you know, and every kid's that way. And, you know, you talk about the Jamboree. We started, it was a turnover, and, you know, if something else would have happened, we would have scored on our first play. But we had a turnover, we're excited, and there we go. And, you know, and then Cali settled in, they do what they do. I mean, but yeah, I think for us it's important. You want to start fast. You don't want to dig yourself in a hole. You don't want to look up, you know, halfway through the first quarter is 14-0. You know, I think it's important for us to play physical. You know, the biggest thing is that first play of the game, you just got to tee off, hit somebody first play, and then see what happens. But I'm excited about it.
If you're a junior or senior over there at Oak Ridge, you done seen the Coach Keefe offense. You done seen the last year's interim coach offense. They have not seen a Jake Dawson offense. Do you think that plays into your advantage, them not having that film in week one on the Jake Dawson's offense and the Jake Dawson's era at Clinton? Yeah,
I mean, I think so. You know, obviously, I think you kind of keep the ace in your back pocket. You know, but anybody that wants to know what we're doing, I'll tell them. You know, it is what it is. If people really want it, man, I'll mail them a playbook. But no, I mean, we're not doing anything that's secretive. But I think the small wrinkles and things like that, you know, I think it's really cool to kind of still have that in our back pocket going into week 2.
Well, coming into week, tell us about you know, you return a quarterback and you got a quarterback coming in. But tell us, but you didn't really get him in the spring. But tell us the process and the growth from Jay from the time you came in the spring to going into your first game of the season. Yeah, I mean, I think he's grown as a leader. You know, and me and him talk about it every day. You know, he's like, well, I'm getting better. And I'm like, you are getting better. We got to keep going. You got to keep going. But he's done a great job. You know, there was some bad habits. I think it come from just a lack of attention. It wasn't anything. But footwork's getting better. He's able to throw the ball. I mean, he's got a tremendous arm on him.
I think he'll continue to grow as a leader, and that's kind of where his next steps will be, is growing as a leader.
How important this Friday do you think the trenches is going to be for both teams?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about over there, they got Elijah Young, they got Baffert, and they got some dudes. They got some dogs up front. You talk about defensive line, they got Big Tim. I think it's for our guys, for a lot of our linemen, it's their first really, it's their time.
Yeah.
We lost 2 or 3 off the offensive line last year, returned Xander Huffman, but we got some big boys. I think it's just being competitive. That's what it is in the trenches. You'll have dudes that are bigger than you, meaner than you, stronger, but if you're competitive enough, and it's you're going to have to do that to me every play. Yeah. If you're going to drop me off the ball, you got to do it every play. And you just got to keep showing up over and over and over. But I feel like if we're competitive over and over, I really like our chances.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the toys you got. You picked up some pieces, Cam Anderson and some other guys. Tell us about some of them kids and who you expect to have a big season for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Anderson is phenomenal.
Man.
Phenomenal. Can absolutely roll both sides of the ball. He's a thumper. He's got a nose for the football. He'll tote the rock. Cam is unbelievable. And you never hear a word out of him. It's just, let's go. Let's do our thing. And then another tailback that come in, Marco. Yeah. Marco Chavez, man, he just shot out of the cannon. Kid can absolutely roll. We ran him at the fastest back competition at the Jamboree, coming second place. Got outran by little Amari, but Amari can roll. Marco's shot out of a cannon. Another just fantastic kid. Don't really say much, just always on go. And then we got a kid that's going to start at right guard for us, Jackson Wilson, from Anderson County. Really thick kid, phenomenal kid, really smart kid, really cerebral. And I think it was really unique this offseason. We brought in some guys, and guys ended up coming over, and they're all great kids. And they're great locker room guys. Realistically, we talk about those 3, they're 3 of our leaders on the team.
Right.
And they all come from great programs with a great pedigree, with a great coaching staff, and they really have a great work ethic. So that's more of a testament, maybe the people that have been around them before. But I'm so happy that those kids ended up here, and I'm really excited to be able to work with them.
How do you like the transfer portal in the high school rank? You like it as something that you think they put some more limitation to it, more rules to it, or you kind of like how it's going and where it's headed?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for us is if a kid doesn't want to be here, a kid doesn't want to play at Clinton High School. Right. There's nothing that I'm going to let a kid go. Right. We're not going to say no, because at the end of the day, I mean, you got 4 years, and if a kid for whatever reason feels like, I'm not getting a fair shake, or maybe this is not the place for me, it's not up to me to make that call for somebody else.
Right.
And that's the kid, that's the kid's family. So, I think it's a great thing. I think it gives kids new opportunities. It lets kids see new places. Do I think there are people that maybe abuse it and people that play into it? Yeah. I think there are schools that probably do that. I don't know, but that's what I hear.
Right.
But but I think it's a great thing. I think, like I said, I think it allows kids to be, they kind of decide their own fate a little bit. Now, I think it does require some maturity from the kids.
Right.
To be like, hey, if I'm going to make this move, I'm going to make it. If I'm going to use my one time, this is it. So, but I think it's a great thing. I think, like anything else, it will become more refined, maybe more, more governing guidelines. But I think it's helped a lot of kids so far. Sure. Maybe got kids out of bad situations, put them in a great situation. But, the adverse of that, maybe a kid jump ship early. You never know. But I think it's a great thing. I think more freedom to the athlete that's always going to be a good thing.
Right. I was telling Coach, say you got a quarterback who's been in the spread and he get a new coach, and they come in with a wing tee. Before he'd be stuck, but now he can actually leave and find a home that fit the things he do. And I'm always for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. What are some of your goals this year for the Dragons?
I think we got to continue to build our competitive nature. I say compete a lot. I mean, that's what it is. Yep. Talk about kind of sprinting between periods of practice. We're talking about if we're going to go nose to nose and line it up, I want people that are going to call somebody out. I want you right here. I'm the 2, you're the 1, I want you right here. So we got to continue to build the competitive drive. And then, obviously this week's a big game with us at Oak Ridge, but then after that, we're in region. Yeah. So, we got 8 games left after this and 7 of them are region games. Yeah. So the only one we don't not regions is South Dual. So We want to win as many region games as we can win, and obviously the goal will always be here is win a state title. So that'll always be the goal.
Yes, sir.
With being the new head coach, and you got some experience coaching college, what do you do to sell the program and sell your kids to college?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a weird networking where a lot of people I worked with, they're still getting their foot in the door, and for me, it's like I could pick up the phone because I lived with those guys.
Right.
Like I worked with those guys for 60 hours a week, and it's not anything really that me as a coach has done. It's me as a person, and those people know like I'm not going to sell them a bad kid. I'm going to be honest with coaches. I'm going to tell them what the deal is. If this kid can do this, I'm going to sell them to that school. I think honesty goes a long way with coaches. If you sell them a bad kid, you sell them a kid that maybe don't have all ducks in a row, then it's going to hurt kids later down the line. But if you can be honest with them and you can say, this kid can do this, and sometimes you got to say negatives about a kid. But if they want a kid, it don't really matter.
Right.
If it's going to say, well, he struggles with this, they'll fix it. You just got to be honest with them. But we had a lot of coaches come in here in the spring. There's a lot of coaches I can pick up the phone right now and call, and they will answer. And I think it's just a relationship piece.
Yeah, coming in to this season, everybody know Bryson and Jaylon. They can pretty much put up 2 to 3 touchdowns a game. Offensively wise, who else upcoming wise, whether it's freshman, sophomore on the rise, who do you think that's going to help you guys out offensively this season? Well,
I mean, you look at our scrimmages and our jamboree, one kid that's putting up like 100 a game is Austin Phillips. And kid's just going to be a sophomore. He had I think it was 120 against Catholic. Against Grace, he had 2 touchdowns and 75 receiving. Kid just make plays. He's a really savvy route runner, really cerebral player. He has a bright future here. I'm really excited about Austin.
Yeah.
Goon Squad.
Yeah, Goon Squad. AP, what it do? Talk about defensive wise. Is any young guys that surprised you so far? You think that's gonna have a breakout this year for you guys?
Well, it's gonna be another one, Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie Turville, man, just gonna be a sophomore. I mean, you talk about a sophomore starting a middle linebacker. That's a little undersized right now, right? He's just cracked 170.
Yep.
He's undersized, mean, will get people lined up. He's attentive. He works hard. Just fantastic kid. So, let's talk about, leaders on both sides of the ball, just sophomores. So I'm very excited to see Charlie, see what he does.
Shout out to my boy Charlie, too.
Goon Squad. All our kids doing good. I root for all the kids, but I really like what the Goon Squad.
Yeah, because, it's always fun to see guys you actually personally work with out there doing their thing on the field and some of the off-season work paying off.
Yeah.
So.
You talk about linebackers. How important you got a sophomore in the middle, but you got 2 seniors on the outside, and Jackson and Noah. Tell us about them guys and their leadership in that position.
Oh, it's awesome. Jackson Harrell, as a vocal leader as you're going to get, he always does the right thing. He's going to be in the right spot.
You kind of got to do the right thing when you're dad.
Yeah, dad's the principal. You can't really get too far in the line, so you're always going to have that eye on you. But Jackson does great, and then, other inside backers. Noah Witt had a great year last year. Noah's starting to come along. I told Noah the other day, Noah kind of chilled for a second, but he's coming back along. He's doing a great job. And then Riker Arms, so I think that'll help Charlie's development. Is you got all seniors around you. Obviously, that's the next year's problem where you got people we got to replace. But, honestly, right now, Charlie and Jackson are kind of leading that crew, and they're doing a great job.
Your secondary, they senior heavy. Tell us about, I know you probably don't want to play Bryson a lot on defense end, but you probably got to stay competitive. Tell us about your secondary.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention real quick, Bryson, I think Bryson's a Power 5 receiver. I think Bryson's an NFL safety. I think Bryson is, in my opinion, Bryson's the best DB in the state. Obviously, offensively, you get I don't know how much I really, you see him going there in the pile, mix it up. I don't really, because he's such a physical kid. But then on the outside, you got Ryan and Will and Marco. I would be hard pressed to find a better 3 corners in public school football than Ryan, Will Young, and Marco. It's just tough to find. And then you go back at safety, obviously in the mix of Bryson, 6'5", 6'6", Brown Hayden, Cam Anderson, 6'3", Connor Bayless. We have a lot of length in the secondary. So, those windows may not look as open as they do against people that are 5'11", 6 foot tall. You got a little more out there.
Coming in, Coach, taking a head job here, did you have to break a lot of bad habits from previous, whether it's was coaches or just picking up bad habits along the way? Do you have to break a lot of bad habits, or was the transition pretty smooth?
It was smooth. I think the biggest hurdle we had to cross was just like, kind of like, going to meetings and sitting there, and our kids kind of struggled with the idea of like doing right all the time, even when no one's looking, but the practice, the kids worked hard. I think it was just more or less maybe misdirected energy from the kids' part. Kind of just beating my head against the wall, like, I'm going to run really hard, but I'm not really going the right way.
Yeah.
So what's it really for? But we've kind of got that back on track. You go to one of our meetings, there's no phones in there. They got it in the pocket. They leave it in the locker. Everyone's got a notebook taking notes, so we got to split up in the groups. But I think that's what it is. It's the little moments where they're in the locker room and it's like, hey, you got to go. There's not, no one's messing around in there. People are getting where they need to go. But I think the transition's been great. Kids work really hard. I think there was just a little bit of misdirected energy, but I think we've got it kind of straightened out.
Who or what would be your biggest inspiration in becoming the head coach?
Got to be Josh Jones, man. That's my guy, man. I talk to Josh 2 or 3 times a week. He told me whenever I took the job, I asked him, I'm like, hey, I'm stepping into this. There's stuff I don't know. And he told me, the first one you get, it don't matter if you're 25 or 24 at the time or 65. Like, there's going to be stuff you don't know. And you're going to learn every day of that first year. And whenever he told me that, I'm like, you know what, let's do it. I'm ready to go. So it's Josh, man. He's talking about, if you ever go out to eat with Josh Jones in Knoxville, you're going to see the impact he's had anywhere he goes. Coach Jones, you're out there with Rick, like, you know where you are. So
Rick Sagan.
Yeah, so seeing the impact he's had, and it's just like, man, like if you kind of plant your feet somewhere and you spend time and you're doing the right things, you're doing right by the kids, it's amazing what that'll look like down the road.
Sure. I don't want to keep just talking about Friday, but that's a big game for you guys. Do you feel like defensively you guys will be able to get the stops necessary to come away with the victory Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are very explosive on defense, and I think our defense will have times where it makes big plays.
Yeah.
Oak Ridge does a great job on offense. Look at the Halls game, they're going 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards, and then obviously you have Will and Malik, and then you have number 9, I'm forgetting his name, but Jamerson, right? Last name Jamerson. Just a great player, shot out of a cannon. And, they got dudes on the perimeter. So I think for us defensively, we got to be able to make big plays. Got to be able to force turnovers. We got to be able to slow down the run game. And hopefully we slow down the run game enough where they feel like they're going to take a shot, and then we're aggressive enough to be able to make a play.
Yeah. With you being a defensive-minded guy, do you want this to kind of be a low-scoring game? Because on the outside looking in, I mean, it's offense on both sides of the field. I'm expecting a shootout. But as a defensive guy, would you like to try to keep this a low-scoring game, or will a shootout work as well for you?
For me, at the end of the game, if we got more points than them, I don't care if it's 199. I'm going to be happy. But, no, I mean, offensively, we're going to go super fast. We're going to go super fast on offense. We're going to try to spread the field as much as we can. And that'll be our game plan every week. That's not a game-specific thing. So we're going to go super fast, push the envelope, and, we're going to try to make defenses to make mistakes, maybe gamble, maybe, take a step up we're not supposed to just because of the tempo. So that's going to kind of be our MO. And sometimes that puts your defense in compromising situations where if you're throwing the ball, you might have a 15-second 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? So, but our defense, man, they do a great job. So I'm excited about it.
Yes, sir.
My last question, because I know you've been doing interviews all day. So, what can you tell the fans? Because the fans didn't get to see you last week, of course. But what can the fans expect from a Jake Dawson-led Clinton football program?
We're going to be super energetic. You're going to see energy on the sideline. If we make a big play, our sideline's going to be fired up, ready to go. And then we're going to be super competitive. There will never, ever be a point in the game, whether we're up by 50 or down by 50, there'll never be a point in the game where you see bad body language, people just jogging the ball, people not doing what they're supposed to do. The expectation will always stay top notch. I think we're going to try to be super explosive. We're going to take the top off people. That's what we're going to try to do. So I'm excited about it. I think we're going to be a very physical football team. And if you want to see something impressive, come watch our warm-ups and see how we coordinate our warm-ups. I really like it, but I think it just shows, kind of unity within the team.
And I will attest to that, man. When we played you guys in the scrimmage, I was watching body language. I'm watching stuff that a normal fan don't watch just because I'm a football fan. And one time I heard you yell on the sideline, "Helmet zone."
Yeah.
And man, it gave me chills. I'm something that small, but I'm a football guy, so I like all football, whether it's my team or not. Man.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me chills. Like, yeah, Jake's taking his program in the right direction because. I got to see this team a little bit last year with his son being playing. There was guys on the sideline playing. And
just chilling.
It wasn't none of that going on this year. But I got one more question. I don't want to hold you up too long. What's your favorite spot since you moved to Clinton to eat at?
Ooh.
I see him all the time. Man.
It's got to be El Indio.
Yeah.
I'm in El Indio all the time.
Okay.
No, it's great, but lunch around here is great.
Yeah.
We got to get some more dinner options. But you talk about lunch, you going to Hoskins, you going to Hammock, so lunch is great, but dinner has got to be El Indio. I think I'm about to go to El Indio right now. So.
Yeah.
I see him there all the time. We always but appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate
y'all.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this year.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate it.
In the lab.
We out.
We out.
What's up, East Tennessee? Y'all know who it is. Chili My Car Guy down here at Hopper Auto Sales. At Hopper Auto Sales, we stand behind every vehicle we sell. And if we ain't got what you're looking for, we can go get it. We pride ourselves on getting you in the best vehicle at a price and a payment you truly can afford. Because at Hopper Auto Sales, all we see are happy smiles and happy customers in the best pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So scan this QR code or head over to Hopper Auto Sales for your pre-approval and the freshest inventory.
Y'all know what time it is? You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rocket O. East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school and the coaches from around the country here. Make sure you like and share this podcast. And stay tuned in each week. But enough of this. Let's get it.
Welcome to In the Lab.
I'm Coach Rock.
Coach O.
We're here in Clinton today with
Jackson Wilson Jr., offensive defensive line.
Jaylon Benjamin, quarterback junior.
Bryson, Maddox, senior receiver.
what's going on, fellas.
Sir, appreciate it, fellas. Appreciate it. Sir.
Been an exciting offseason for y'all. I picked up some guys. Got 1707 in PAL. Just tell us about going into the offseason, leading into the season, and how y'all got ready and how y'all like our team so far.
We had the lock-in to right after dead period, and then we rolled into the 7-on-7. We had a good first day, and the second day we really competed, and we were resilient, and we ended up winning. So after that, we really felt good about things.
I agree with what he said.
So you with that 7-on-7?
No, I don't play 7. It's good.
But being new, coming over here, what the energy been like and how you like being in Clinton so far?
Good. I mean, skill guys are a big part of keeping the energy up. So I think that everybody's done a great job keeping the energy up. Real excited for this year.
How do you guys feel with not being able to finish you guys' first game and get some momentum rolling into week 2?
I was talking about it during the break. I was like, I'd rather go out here and lose it than not play. I think it would have been good to get some of the stuff, like the bad stuff out and stuff like that, but it's a part of it. Nobody could control it, so we just got to roll with it.
Yeah, and it's like a big part of going into week 2, not playing a game yet, not having no type of energy or no like being together like fully for that first time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like Bryson says, it's hard not to be able to work out with the kinks of your first game, but just keep rolling on next week.
Going into week 2, not having a game of the week, and then your first real game, actual grid, are you concerned about not having a game, getting some of them kinks out, and just being the first game? Because some of the guys, this is going to be their first Friday night.
So we were talking about the pros and cons. The cons are, of course, the kinks, and the pros. Oak Ridge doesn't really have much on film.
Right.
So we're going to hit them with some stuff they haven't seen, and I think it's going to be to our advantage probably late in the game.
I agree.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. So do you guys feel like Oak Ridge is going to see a different kind of team than they did last year, or is it going to be
100%.
something they can take off film from last year and use? Because they don't got much film on you guys coming into week 2. So you think that plays in you guys' advantage? Or
I would say so. The experience at quarterback we have now with Jaylon, he's been through it. About every situation you can be through, he's been through it. And then we're older about every area. You know, last year we were youth filled, but I feel really excited about this team and them coming over here. I feel like it's our game to win.
Yeah.
We got a lot to prove though.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for last year, but coming over here instantly and seeing a change in energy and attitude, so it's going to be really good this week.
Bryce, question for you. You know, going into the season, you know, you've been highly recruited. Everybody know who you are. What is it like being that now you're a senior? You know, you had guys before that you kind of slowly got your role in, but now it's your year.
Yeah.
What's it been like, some of them guys and being the leaders of them guys?
It's been tough, to be honest. You know, it's a role I've never had to play. Even last year we had guys like Bo and Connor Riggs and Andrew McCamus, so I didn't really have to step into that. But it's been kind of tough for me, but it's also been kind of fun. You know, I have a lot of help around me, and I feel like we're a really tight locker room, so it's kind of easy.
With it being so easy to move around to different schools, what made you stay loyal to the Clinton community?
Just because what the community's put in me. You know, I was a freshman and I was supported. I've been supported for the past 3 years, and of course my friends. Nobody else left. Why would I? You know, you know, this place means a lot to me, and it'll forever be that way.
Yeah. Kind of looking at you, started off at Powell, coming back to your original home. Like I said, with being so easy to move around and bounce school to school, how does it feel being back and having a year under your belt under your own community?
Now it feels good because everything, like a Friday night, you come to a Clinton game, it's the best feeling in the world. And like, you grow up here, so everybody knows you, you know, face of the community.
Yep. How you feel transferring from, which is somewhat a rival to you guys over at Anderson County, and now being at Clinton? How does it feel?
Well, it was obviously a huge deal, but obviously going across town, like you said, rivals is kind of different. But I knew I made a good choice first day I came here. You know, meeting these guys. These guys are great leaders, great football players, and they want the best for this team, and that's what I want. So everybody wants. So it feels really good, and they've helped me a lot ease into it.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Quick few, Jack. Coming in, you know, we're here. Me and Coach here and the other coaches here all summer have, you know, y'all got the skill guys to compete with anybody. The question for Clinton is always going to be up front. Being one of the guys that's on up front, and you probably one of the only guys. I mean, I got a few, but I know there's a lot of kids that's stepping in. So what is it like knowing you got experience coming over here and trying to be a leader for that offensive line?
Yeah, that's always been a question a lot of people have asked, but we have two seniors on the OL, and the rest are two are juniors, and then one's a sophomore. So having those 3 guys come in and just, you know, work it in. We've shuffled around the line maybe 4 or 5 times from, you know, since the end of summer till now. So those guys they want to compete and they want to play and they want to learn. So those 5 guys, it's gonna be good up front.
Starting with you, Bryson, what do you think make this year's team better than last year's team?
I'd definitely like to say experience, and then of course the locker room. You know, the locker room's tighter. We didn't take last year's as serious as we probably should have. You know, everything going around, but and also a quarterback like Jaylon who's experienced now. You know, he's being young last year. He's super composed now. He knows his reads, and he's gonna put the ball where I can get it, and or the other receivers can get it. So it's a huge advantage. I feel like we got the best quarterback in the area.
Yes, sir. Starting with you.
I agree with Bryson said. Not really as much as took it serious last year. A lot of people just was going into the game like it is what it is. Like we gonna lose, you know what I mean? So and like a locker room situation, more like together in a way.
Well, you can't really answer that question because you wasn't there. There you go.
Jay, let's talk about your offseason. What do you think is the biggest improvement that you made from last year as a sophomore, as your first time full starter, to coming into your junior year?
I'd say probably staying level-headed in tight situations and making the right reads, knowing where to put the ball, and really how to manage the clock and use it, and knowing down the distance.
Make the job a little easier when you got a 6'5" stud over there, right?
Coming from Anderson County, are you familiar with playing against Oak Ridge, or?
I've never played Oak Ridge.
Never played against Oak Ridge?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, you know, 2 days in the week, what do you think some of the keys, we'll start with you, what do you think some of the keys to winning this game Friday, what do you think?
A lot of execution. Obviously, I think physicality-wise, we're a pretty physical team, and I think we can run with them. You know, obviously they're a great team up front and secondary, but it's gonna be execution. It's gonna be the.
Yeah. See, you being a little bit familiar with Oak Ridge, you got to play against them last year. I watched that game on TV. It was a shootout. Felt like you guys kind of lost it towards the end. But what do you think some of the keys will be to winning this game?
Probably staying focused the whole game, and not like going into halftime we lost focus and had a little bickering in the locker room. So just staying level-headed throughout the entire time.
Mm-hmm. You've been here. It's your fourth battle with Oak Ridge, if I ain't mistaken. What do you think the keys to winning?
I think the biggest thing I've learned in this game is the highs and the lows. You know, there's going to be both at different times, and you know, I feel like our coaches are going to put us in positions to win. We just have to win. Yep. That's what it's going to come down to, and I feel like we're the better team. You know, it's our game to win.
Yes, sir.
Bryson, question for you. Coming in off season, there's been a lot of talk about some of the guys that you added this year, and it's not going to be a one-man show. You got, of course, you got Jay, you got Ryan Jones. But tell us something about some of them guys who's going to expect to have a big year, and some of the newcomers and how they're going to help y'all.
Them two guys in the middle, Austin Phillips and Will Young. They're two guys who want the ball and they want to do something with it. And when you put them two on the opposite sides, it's tough. You know, and they're two dogs. You know, they're not scared of nobody. You can put anybody in front of them, they're gonna play. And then Ryan Jones, I think it showed at PAL. I think he probably had the best PAL outing. He's a dog. He can go with anybody, and it's gonna show.
Yep.
And Cam Anderson, transfer we got from Cam.
How Cam been? I know I seen him get the long run with the few plays that got on offense. He broke one for 70 and unfortunately got called back. Tell us how it being fitting him into the equation with all the weapons you got.
Nah, it's definitely it's like adding like a little bit of spice, you know, because it gets to a point where like if I do have trouble with, he played quarterback at Harriman, so like say I do have trouble with something, he can kind of keep me level headed and just someone I can talk to that knows the position I'm in every down.
Let's start with you. All three of you guys coming from a background of good coaches. You over there with Gilliam, he's one of the best in the areas, in my opinion. You got to see Matt Lowe a little bit. You got to see Coach Keefe. You had an interim head coach last year. What do you think Jake bring different to the table from any of the other coaches you've been around?
I think he's been at every level of ball, you know, from being a Catholic to being a Heritage to being a G at Tennessee, seeing how it works and stuff like that. And then him being 25 years old, the energy he brings, I think is huge. And he also comes to get it. You know, he was in high school, 7 years ago? So that's a pro, you know. It's times have changed, and I think he really gets that. It's an advantage.
Everything Bryson just said, just him being young and knowing like what we go through daily and everything of that nature.
What type of coaching change you feel coming from Gilliam, offensive mind, over to one of the youngest head coaches in the area?
I mean, yeah, you come with somebody who's experienced with, you know, preaching culture, but obviously, like they said, Coach Dawson's been around, you know, and he teaches a no quit culture, and he's tough on us, but it's for a good reason. You know, he preaches that every day that, you know, we're not going to be slow. We're going to be hard players, hard hitters. We're not going to quit. Like Bryson said earlier, you know, there's highs and lows throughout the whole game. That's how you handle those highs and lows. So great.
You know, you got a new district, new region district, whatever they call it in football. Got a tough game, tough region. Is it a game on the schedule that when you seen the schedule come out, was there any particular game on the schedule you seen that you was like, I'm ready to play that game?
I would have to be Central. You know, being from over there and growing up there, I think it's a huge game for me. Just from being over there, and I think the Halls game would be pretty cool. And of course the Powell game. You know, how much that one. I think that one gets kind of underlooked because of the AC and Oak Ridge, but that one means just as much to us, especially for Jay. I know how much it means to him, so it's huge to me.
I would say the Powell, just coming from over there and just last year they took me out to prevent injury because we played Oak Ridge the week after. And that was a big district game we needed. And I would just say the Powell because it was in it short for me last season.
Yeah, obviously, you know, Oak Ridge, because I've played in the Oak Ridge game. It's just, I know how huge it is to the guys who've been here, and I'm real excited. And then obviously, Powell and West, you know, they're state champions, you know, their past few years, so big games.
What accomplishments that you yourself want to reach this year, not just for the team, but for yourself?
I feel like Mr. Football has always been a dream of mine, and you know, I feel like I was kind of on pace there for a little bit, but then once again, you have bad games, so I think I got to be a lot more consistent in areas, and that'd be the main goal. But you know, I've reached a lot of goals, but Mr. Football would definitely be a big one.
Yep, that'd be nice.
Definitely getting all state this year. I was all region. I'm trying to get all state this year, and that's about it.
Yeah, probably all region. Obviously, as a team, we want to win a state championship.
Yeah.
So everything that leads up to that.
Yeah. That's good, Coach.
What would you think is your team? This question for all three of y'all. Is your team biggest strength coming into the season?
Like I would say, I think we went over to Powell and we had a seasoned quarterback and he didn't fold at any moment. I think that was our advantage in every game. We had a quarterback who wanted to win. We had the best quarterback on that side of the ball, but athlete-wise, I felt like we were the best there too. You know, we made plays and I definitely say it's that, but we got some guys up front who it really means something to this year. They want to make a statement because they're underlooked, so I think it fuels them. So I feel like we're back good in every area.
I agree with Bryson. I feel like there's not one area that we're just like totally bad at. You know what I mean? I feel like and then even at the positions we always have room to grow by week by week.
Yeah, obviously you can always make improvement every week, but I think our attitude is a huge thing. You know, before game when we played Heritage, I mean, it was livid. I mean, we were all excited. We have great coaches who really preach that kind of attitude. So,
how big do you think you guys' chemistry is? Because coming into the 7-on-7 at Powell, I kind of felt like you guys was going to be one of the better teams, strictly because you've been playing in Tony the Gunslinger lead, and how big do you feel like the chemistry is this year?
It was huge, I'll tell you this, me and Jackson got into like the third day I was here, and he texted me that night, and I trust him with my life. He's a guy I can look to my right, and I know he's going to be there. And I really feel like that's every guy on the team, especially Jaylon. I feel like I can look at Jaylon, he knows what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's huge, just like you said, like the Powell thing. I really think that's what won it for us.
Yeah, I agree with Bryson. I feel like everybody's so locked in that we know, like, when it comes down to it, everybody's going to be there and deliver for what we need.
right, yeah, like Bryson said, we got into it, but that's how you grow, and the way you grow from that is by becoming closer. So always.
What do I see your slogan is what in no empty. What did that mean and how that come about?
I feel like every aspect, if you finish the game and you could go out and go down the street, do whatever, I feel like you didn't do something right. Even at practice or in the classroom, just do everything with everything you got and leave it out there. You don't want to have no regrets.
Yeah, that's basically what it means.
Yeah, I think Coach Dawson says, empty the tank. Just give it your all, bleed out, sweat out, and you'll reap the results.
Yeah, Coach, again.
If you can you compare yourself to any player, NFL, college, who would you compare your skill set like?
I wouldn't say DK. He's a lot bigger than me, but I really like how Devontae and Justin Jefferson move. So I like to watch them. But there's not many 6'5" guys. But if I had to say, probably them two. I really like how they play.
I'd probably say Josh, just because I'm a bigger quarterback. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things like a lot of people can't do. I just say Josh.
I like Cade Mays. He played at Tennessee. He's just a stud. He ain't really the biggest or the smallest, but he's just a stud. I like the way he plays.
Coming into this Oak Ridge game, you got a lot of young guys that's getting on the field. How do you come in as a leader and step in to take a little bit of their nerves away to get them prepared for this rival game?
It is a rival game. It's just another game. If you're a competitor, it's really nothing to you. We were talking about it today in the meeting. I was a sophomore, and I didn't have a great game the first time we played them, but we went over there and I finished with like 102 touchdowns. You just got to be a competitor, and everything will work out. I think that'll be huge, and I think our young guys are some competitors, and that's why they're on the field.
Yeah. Everybody know you and Bryson can light the scoreboard up. Talk to us a little bit about your running game this year.
We have a lot more than what we had previously because I'd say like we had struggles last year. I just feel like we had a lot to prove, especially during the running game. There's a lot like what I heard to say we couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, couldn't run it.
Who's a couple guys we can look forward to toting that ball for y'all this year?
Riker Arms, Cam Anderson, and Marco Shabazz.
Okay, be on the lookout for them. What do you think your biggest attribute coming from Anderson County over here to Clinton to helping this team be successful?
Just trying to be a leader, not trying to be like a screaming at your leader or just cussing and carrying on, just trying to help the younger guys who may have not had somebody beforehand to lead, which these two guys are the best leaders we have, so just trying to help them.
Awesome.
Question for Jay. And I heard all off season how much of a better leader you was this year than last year. How important you, as being one of the leaders of the offense, to come off with a good start Friday night? And what would you do if the composure go down? How you get the team back?
Just try to get everybody level-headed. Just tell everybody, like, just trust what Coach Dawson got, like, his game plan, and just really just bring everybody together. Just know I'm gonna get for the receivers to get everybody the ball to spread that thing around.
Like I said, we still touching on offense. I asked you about the running game. We know you guys can light it up in the passing game.
Yeah.
I'm a big defensive guy.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what are you excited about your defense this year, and you think they can get the stops that you guys need to win games?
I feel really good about our outside corners and the pressure we're bringing. I feel like we have guys that can guard for 3 to 4 seconds. And, you know, when you're sending pressure, that's all you need. So that's what I really feel good about. And then long distance, I feel like we're gonna push you into tough throws, and it's tough throws and not many quarterbacks are gonna make.
Yeah.
I agree with Bryson said. I feel like we have one of the best secondaries in our region.
Definitely one of the better secondaries in the state for sure.
Yeah.
And up front, we have a lot of bodies, a lot of people who can play, a lot of people who have played. You know, Gabe Sanders, he played at Campbell County last year. You know, people who got experience and who are just ready to eat somebody up. So looking good.
Sounds good.
But you still playing corner. Do you take the responsibility to guard the other guy's best, or do you just play your side and you trust the guy on the other side?
I trust them both. You know, whoever it is, I feel good about all the corners we have, all the safeties we have. I don't think there's no reason to, we got to guard this guy.
Right.
We have some competitors on the field, and they're not going to back down from nobody. And I feel like we have guys that can make plays.
But we get a Will versus Bryson matchup. You know,
I'd say it'd be in store, me and Malik or me and Will, but I'd definitely be on the lookout for that one.
Let me see what else I got for you.
I got one more, coach.
Yeah, hit him,
Friday night, school over with. Tell me your preparation. Get ready for the game.
It's really just some headphones, you know, and
What you bumping?
really anything, you know, if there is.
What's your go-to song though? You got to go to
You
one
asked me-
song.
you asked me this last
You got
year.
2 minutes for the game. You get
You
one
don't
more
want to say
song
a different
in.
song, huh?
What you putting on?
Sit Down by Babyface Ray. You asked me that last year, and I said the same thing. It really
Yeah.
gets me excited, but
I got the same song. I got the same song for 20 years.
yeah. But once again, I think being a football player, I think you both know you can feel it. You know, when you're about to step out there, it's a feeling that's unmatched, and if it don't get you ready, then I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd probably say Win Legit by G Herbo. And then really just headphones. Just really lock in and be focused.
Yeah, you know, like rolling out, getting ready, putting the headphones in. I like listening to old like rock, like Creed and Metallica.
Yeah.
They know this.
They know this.
I love that stuff pregame, man. Awesome.
I feel like a good song, like you said, man, is gonna last a long time. I still remember from my playing days, Phil Collins in the Heart of Night. It still give me chills to this same day. So I feel like a good song is lasts forever. It lasts forever. Do you guys? Last question for you guys as well. Coming into this week, you know, I feel like both teams feel like they're very familiar with each other. Y'all know guys over there, they know guys over here. Coming in to this game, do you feel like they got the defense to stop you guys?
I think we'd be lying if we said yes.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we're better in a lot of areas. And I think we know the areas we can attack, and we're going to. But I feel like we got a quarterback that can pick them apart. And I feel like we got the receivers that are going to make plays, and the coaches that are going to put us in a position to win.
Yep.
We just have to win. I feel like that would be the case Friday.
Now, I agree with Bryson said. It just, they're going to expect something that, like, they're going to expect just Bryson getting the ball, and they just don't believe that everybody else that we got that can really make a play or make a difference.
Right. Yeah, like Jaylon said, like they're all gonna, you know, try to double Bryson or whoever. But I think our execution this week is going to be a huge part in us. I don't think they'll be able to stop us when we're full steam ahead executing.
Have you actually had a chance to break down film already?
Yes.
So you kind of seen them on film. You don't think they got enough?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Anything y'all want to leave y'all fans and the community.
Last question, I got one more.
For y'all go.
It's pretty basic what you said. I was gonna say, just tell us, you know, unfortunately we didn't get to play last week. It looked like we had a good crowd.
Yeah.
Until the rain came and kind of scattered. So it's for home opener, basically. Tell the fans what they can expect Friday night against the Wildcats.
They didn't get to see 10 personnel. We're a group that's going to throw it around, and we didn't get a chance to do that Friday, and we're going to light it up. And I think everybody knows that. Oak Ridge knows that. They seen it last year, but it's going to be a movie.
That's what I like to hear right
It's gonna be a lot to see. A lot of people not expecting us to do.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of eyes, and it's gonna be a good show.
Yeah. Hey man, I just want to leave this for the fans and the players as well, man. When we bring you on the show, don't be shy, man. It's all right to talk a little bit, man. It's just football, man. We can be friends at the end of the day, but it's rival week, man. This is Clinton versus Oak Ridge. This is big, man.
It's our game of the week.
This is big. This is our game of the week. So if these guys get on here and want to talk with their chest and beat their chest a little bit, man, I feel like that's fine. We're going to keep it all fair. But like Coach Rock always say, man, when all else fails,
Go Dragons.
go Dragons.
Y'all know what time it is? You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rock and East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming